Insides of the Classic Army Sportline version. The first thing to show is that it is not a stock Classic Army gearbox. You can tell right here because the Classic Army ones have a second screw hole at the bottom. This is a Chinese replica of some sorts. Maybe they bought it, who knows, but it's not the normal Classic Army gearbox. The new aluminum blue barrel that has a very nice crown at the tip of it. They do not have a metal hop-up. It is a one-piece plastic hop-up. You have when we take everything out, you can see that they used a different type of a polycarb piston with just their standard 4-ported piston head. It does give a really good compression, however, into yours. In the cylinder, you can see it could barely get anything. It gets real good compression in there. If you look closely on each of these gears, it says Classic Army instead of the standard CA stamp, and each of their gears has a stamping on it. 2 of them that say Classic Army, and the last one says CA-SL for Classic Army Sportline. And you can see that these aren't even the same coloring as the normal Classic Armies are going to be. They're more towards the type of the Chinese knockoffs and the Tokyo Maruis. You can see all of this was real well lubed. There's not a whole bunch of excess, grease and things that you're going to get with the clones. It's well lubed, and every piece was shimmed really properly. Blue nylon bushings. They aren't metal, but all the shims are metal. And this is a look at the aesthetics of the Classic Army Sportline. If you look closely, it's got a real nice ABS body. It's actually a little more attractive than the Marui. It doesn't come off as looking as a plain plastic. It actually looks more like a real metal one. However, some of the downsides are, if you look closely at the ejection port and everything like that, you can see that the metal looks, I don't know, used, I could say. It definitely has wear on it, or as if it has been sitting in the shop for a very long time. You can see it up on your carrying handle. Pretty much every metal part on the gun on the exterior looks like that. So this gun is nice for somebody who's looking to paint it up, cover it up, and whatnot. It's not something that I would suggest as somebody wants, a sexy Armalite to tote around, because it's got a lot of cosmetic flaws to it. It comes with all of its trademarks. You can see them there. It's got a little Classic Army logo there. As well as its Armalite's logo right here. The nice thing about these body pins is they're extremely sturdy. They do not come out whatsoever. Like, you can push and pull, you can take a hammer to it, and they don't come out whatsoever. It's very sturdy. It has very little to no barrel wobble whatsoever, even if you try to flex it. They made their plastic body tight to the gearbox, so it doesn't flex nearly as much as the Marui. The buffer tube's solid. A little wobble in your buttstock, but that's normal. It telescopes real nicely. Charging handle works fine. You can adjust your hop up through there. And the knobs for your carrying handle are metal. The top rail is ABS. It's held on by the hex key in the front. Got your delta ring here, which is metal. You got your full size Classic Army foregrip, which allows you to hold a nunchuck in the front. And it actually is lacking a gas tube, which gives you a lot more space for your batteries. One of the nice parts about this, as opposed to all the clones and the Maruis is that the disassembly, once you take the 2 pins out, so you simply push forward, you can slide the backing up, and it slides off just like that. So the disassembly is real easy. It doesn't have any body tabs to break or anything like that. It has the lock-ins in the back, which snap it in and prevent the barrel wobble that you're going to get in most every other M4 clone that's based off of the Marui. So it comes with a Classic Army high cap. It's the same high cap that you'll find with the normal Classic Armies. It loads in nicely with actually pretty much no wiggle front to back whatsoever. And let's see what this is, with a 9.6 volt 2300 mod nunchuck right in the foregrip. So it's pretty accurate at 30 yards, that is. You can see that the rate of fire on this is pretty crazy with the 9.6. And it is really accurate at 30 yards. So at 40 yards, you're still getting decent accuracy. Your grouping gets to be about man size, but you're still going to be able to hit a man size target at about 40 yards. Let's see how it does on semi-automatic. It's actually really nice on semi-automatic. It doesn't have any of the half trigger pulls where it only winds back the motor just a little bit. It doesn't double feed at all. After about 1,500 rounds, the gun decided to jam, one jam, and cleared the round out of the chamber, and we'll see what it does now. So after 3,000 rounds in this box mag, as well as the 300 through the high cap, there was one BB jam. It was very accurate. Both magazines fed very well. The only thing is, this motor is a little hot. It's a little warm to the touch through the grip. I wouldn't recommend doing what I just did with this gun. But for the first 3,000 rounds, torture testing it, it has held up well. And the only thing left to do is actually run out on the field and play with it and see if the body decides to crack in half or if it's going to be sturdy. This is the chrono test for the Classic Army Sportline M15a4. And now I'm going to turn the hop up all the way off, see what it really gets. So the gun's going to be pushing right between 330 and 340 feet per second, which is actually what most of us are going to consider a perfect rifle. It's going to be just enough to get you out into the woods and get you enough range, and it's going to be perfect for CQB because you're going to be under that 350 feet per second limit. So you really can't ask for much more. It's not too high like the Echoes sometimes are over at 360 and 70, so you can't use them in CQB. So this gun really seems to be all around a really great buy for the price tag that it is.